2017 is upon us. I'm your faithful host, Joe Compton. And while the world is experiencing quite a dramatic shift, indies everywhere are putting 2016 far behind them and starting to implement their business game plans to make this the best year ever. While it's not a stretch to say we take tremendous leaps every day, it is fair to say some leaps are bigger than others. Take, for example, we already had one of our live panel discussion shows this year. And with that, we had some first timers and some new panelists. I know some indies are rededicating themselves to being a publishing or production company or even a brand that sees profit this year. Now, all of these are admirable leaps to be sure. Take my first guest. You may remember Monica Patton from a season 1 episode of our Coffee Break show, where we talked to her about her novel, Beautiful Carnage. Well, Monica is also a seasoned musical stage performer, and she's taking a huge leap. She's putting on her own play, her own musical, which debuted earlier this month in Chicago. Now, Monica is one of the most determined and driven indies I know, and I couldn't pass up this opportunity to talk to her about her life on the stage. They typically say that for play productions, it's an actor's medium. You know, for film productions, it's a director's medium, and television, it's a producer's medium. So is musical theater more of a choreographer's medium?
I think now with corporate theater, where everything has to be sometimes, not putting in a negative light,
Mm-hmm.
but, like with corporations, you have to quantify and qualify. And sometimes it's not the actor's arena or the director's arena, but it's the producer's arena. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Did your stage life begin, and when did you think that you could really do this, or that you wanted to be a stage actress?
Well, I've only actually wanted to do two things in my life. And I remember, like, as early as 7 years old, my favorite uncle, my Uncle Billy, he would stand me on the dining room table and we would sing songs about butterflies because I was obsessed with butterflies. And so I knew from early on I wanted to be a singer or I wanted to be a butterfly. Wow, I can't fly, but so the only choice I had was to be a singer. But I don't know, I was just kind of really focused at a young age. I just knew what I wanted to do. So
Now, in terms of being a singer, though, did you want to be a recording artist, or were you focused for the stage?
well, I actually started off in dance music. I was a backup singer and dancer for top 10 dance artists. And I used to play the clubs in New York. But I was this like young girl from Ohio, and we wouldn't go on to perform until about after midnight, like 1, 2 in the morning. Maybe have get your confidence up, a couple of drinks, and I really think I got into theater because the club life back then just scared the shit out of me. I was just like, I'm gonna end up in rehab, you know. So like theater was actually a safe space for me, and the music business, the recording business, and in the '90s, it just was a little sketchy.
Mhm.
So like musical theater was really kind of safe because all you had to do was like, I can audition. People are going to pay me for my talent. It's that simple, and I get to do what I love, and I don't feel like I'm compromising myself too much. So I always say like theater saved my life. I don't know where I would be, but of course, in my heart, I always loved dance music. So,
Right on.
because that was my beginning.
Have you ever done any straight plays, or has it always been musicals?
It's always been musicals. I actually, early in my career, I actually tried to go out for some straight plays, and straight actors and musical theater actors are very different beasts.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, number one, straight actors don't think we can act. Boo. There's certainly a lot more work to be had as a musical theater artist. So, we get a lot of our arrogance from that. But like I remember going to a theater audition and they do all these like, because I was trained in the disciplines like, Adler, Meisner, viewpoints and, your moment before and breaking down your script and all that, yeah. And so, but like really like hardcore, like straight play actors, they have these like breathing exercises and they do all these funny noises. And musical theater, we're coming there, we're like, hey girl, how you doing? Okay, let me go in here. I gotta sing like my 20, my 32 bars, and we're very social. But like when you go to a straight play, like don't talk to me. This is not, I'm finding my moment before. So it's certainly more strict in terms of like the atmosphere, I feel.
What was the hardest part of the stage for you initially, and how did you overcome that?
The original Ragtime was my first Broadway show, and I was like the lead dancer, very content where I was at. I had a nice feature, and I remember that we needed an understudy to the lead, and all the girls or the young women at the time clamored to audition, but my mother always told me, you don't need to beg for anything. The universe puts you where you need to be. And so I just, I didn't sign up or anything. And then the producer, he was like, Monica, you didn't sign up to audition. I was like, no. He's like, well, do you know the song, that the lead sings? I was like, of course, I hear it every night. But I just wasn't clamoring because it was it was just getting a little vicious and I didn't want to be a part of that. But
Hmm.
he'd asked me to audition. And so I was like, okay. And I just went in there just young and just kind of raw, but like, had this big belty voice and just sang the song. And then I got the part. Um, and I just remember the first time going on when they announced that the lead was not in the show. And of course, some of the audience members are like, oh, so your confidence takes a hit when you hear that. You understand because a lot of times people pay a lot of money to see these stars.
Yeah, sure.
But then I went on and I guess I didn't suck. So hearing the audience, for the first time, but I remember my stomach being in knots and I wanted to throw up. But I remember, was it Shirley MacLaine? I remember her hearing that she said, you have like 8 counts to get over, be nervous, want to throw. You have 8 counts. And then you got to get on with it. And I just remember like giving myself 8 counts to be nervous.
Okay,
And then I just sang the song.
yeah. Do you still get nervous?
I don't, not really. I don't get nervous. I get excited, especially for like playing a new city or a new market, or if it's a new show. Um, I get more excited, and or if like my bosses are in town, I'm more like, okay, are you remembering everything that they told you to do? Are you remembering all your notes? So it's not really more nervous. I might get a little bit more in my head and more technical because I'm trying to remember every detail that you know, my directors or producers feel like will enable me to have a better show.
Is musical theater a lot more? I would imagine because it's more choreographed that there's not a lot of room for improv. Is there any room for that kind of thing in what you do?
Well, it varies. It all depends on the production. I mean, as an actor, you can find incremental changes every day in your show.
Mm-hmm.
Just by a line reading, you will get a different reaction, and then you start to catalog, what works better, or how you're playing against another actor because they might go in a direction and you're like, okay, do I do what's tried and true, or do I go with what they're giving me? So those are like decisions you have to make on a daily basis. Then it's also about like, how are you feeling? Sometimes it's fatigue. Sometimes fatigue will change your show. Sometimes it's the moment before. Did I have too much vodka last night? You know what I mean? So, sometimes the kids are tired and they're like, oh my God, it's a matinee, So it varies. I think the more experienced you become, it's easier to navigate all of that. You know what your body does, how you respond. Sometimes people, they're given it all, but sometimes their voice just really won't fully wake up
Uh-huh.
until after about 3 or 4 o'clock. You know what I mean? So then you got to think about, okay, what do I need to do? You know what I mean? And then it's like, do I have time to do a really intense warm up? Or do I have time to really like stretch my body? Or sometimes you just get to that theater right at half hour and you got to know what you need. I know that if I don't have time to warm up, I just need a cup of black coffee. It strips anything that's on my vocal cords. Boom, I can kick it out. But that's over time you learning because your body is an instrument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to learn what your instrument needs.
So when did you sit down and write The Inheritance, and what led you to writing your own play?
Now, once I really embraced this journey of like being a writer, I am going to write. I would go on stage, do a scene, come off stage, and be at my computer, full makeup, writing. And so I kind of had this idea kicking around in my head, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it into a book. But my partner, my composer and friend, Bobby Day, I said, Bobby, I have this story. It was kind of like a short story at the time. I said, I think it needs to be a musical. Can you just read this? He returned it back to me in like a week and he said, I wrote 3 songs.
Nice.
And then we worked together for like a year and a half. And the whole time we were working.
Tell us something about it that would intrigue people to come and see it. Why would we go and see The Inheritance?
The log line that I use for the show is called Love, Drugs, and Southern Discomfort. It takes place in Louisiana. Inheritance, it's about a prodigal daughter's return. She's been summoned home by the death of the matriarch, her grandmother. And if she doesn't come home, they're going to lose their inheritance. And so she returns home, and with her return home is everything that she ran from. And that secrets are revealed that threatened her very existence. They're just these rich characters, and I mean, I wanted to write a very like classic musical, but I wanted to have the sensibility of like a modern soap opera. I literally want people yelling at the stage as if they're watching television.
What does the word indie mean to you?
I think independent means that I think it means courage. I understand the establishment. I also being a theater actress, and I've done a lot of high profile shows, and so I'm been accused of being the establishment actress. I think at a certain point, if something really moves you or motivates you and something that really speaks to you, you might have to go about it on your own. Sometimes waiting for the establishment will take forever. And sometimes the establishment, because they're so worried about crunching numbers, that they forget to go out on a limb.
Mm.
And there's so many wonderful and wonderfully talented people dangling out there on that limb.